First off, it's all about the U. Let's talk about the next opponent on the 12-part video series. October 3rd against Oklahoma. Now, my friends, let's make absolutely no mistake. Oklahoma's a hell of a football team. They've been to the national championship game many times. They won it all in 2000. And they've been a few more times, 2004 last year, and I believe 2003 against LSU. I mean, this is a team that knows how to go to BCS games. They're loaded, they're well coached, and this is a team we're going to have a lot of trouble with in this game. 2000, as you know. But let's look at Oklahoma. They lose 4 or 5 old linemen to graduation, but they're still very loaded and they're still very good. You know, they have a lot of other weapons: Bradford, Gresham, Murray, especially a lot of those players on offense. So, you know, even though they lost 4 of their top linemen, they still have the best lineman in Trent Williams. So we know we're going to have to get that addressed, and know we're going to have to pressure Bradford in this game. But this team, their offense scores and scores quickly. To give you an idea, last year they outscored their opponents in the first quarter 225-30. On the season, they had 99 touchdowns. That's another aspect. We must get touchdowns in this game and not field goals, because that against Oklahoma, that's just not going to get the job done. Okay. Their O-line allowed just 13 sacks all last year. Okay. Like I said, with 4 or 5 linemen gone, doesn't matter. This is still going to be a very, very, very good football team. Make no mistake about that. We will have our hands. We will have to do a lot of different things against Sam Bradford. But Sam Bradford's the Heisman winner. He's one of the best quarterbacks in college football, and you know we're going to have to make sure we have our best game, but because this guy can absolutely torch the best teams in the country. I mean, you know, there's no question about that. Defensively, you know, they have their front 7 is just unbelievable, but especially their linebackers, Reynolds, Lewis, and Clayton. And to give you the idea how good they were last year, defensively, they had 42 sacks and 106 tackles were for losses. And you see they have their D-line with Taylor, McCoy, and Granger as their leaders. I mean, this team doesn't allow running games to get going. They shut that down pretty quick. So we're going to have to protect Ja'Cory, and we are going to have to try and establish the run with Coop, JJ, Mike James, Barry. You know, bottom line is we got to establish the run, because then we can protect Ja'Cory and get the passing game going, in my opinion, from a CANES perspective here. When you face Oklahoma, you know you need to win the field position battle. And to emphasize this point, like I said, when they sacked last year, they had 42 sacks. That was for a loss of 292 yards. That's an average of 6.9 yards each time Oklahoma got a sack. And again, that's field position. You cannot, against a team like this, especially as talented and loaded as Oklahoma is, you cannot lose that many yards of field position and expect to win. You can't do it. They're just too good. They're too loaded, and that cannot be done. Okay. Like I said, field goals, you can't do that. Okay, so I emphasized that earlier. But I think if there's a weakness in Oklahoma, if there is one, it's their kick coverage. Emphasizes last year they allowed 4 touchdowns and allowed 23.8 yards per return. However, let's be clear. Our special teams coverage is going to be tested. Let's make no mistake about it. Murray's not 100%, but Murray's 100%. He's their kick returner, and they'll have Franks there. But then they also have a kid named Boyles who does their punt returns as well. Their kicking game is a weakness. That's something to keep in mind in a close game, because I think that could be to our advantage. You know, in that situation, I tend to like Bosch's chances a little more in a close game against Oklahoma. Now, Oklahoma doesn't play many close games. They just don't do that. They tend, because they just blow people out of building. And when they played Florida in the national championship game last year, close game, see, Florida forced mistakes against Sam Bradford, which I think we can do the same thing in that respect. And they have a good, and Florida's a good defense, but I think so do we. Okay, so let's look at Oklahoma for the season. I would be shocked if they won less, if they didn't win 10 games. It would be a complete shock. Maybe 11, but and they're gonna be top 3 when it's all said and done. Top 3, maybe 5 when it, no worse than 5 when it's over. I'm gonna go for Oklahoma this year I'm gonna say 10 wins. 10 wins, maybe 11. But I'll say 10 wins for Oklahoma this year. Their offense just unbelievable. Out of 10, they're about almost a 9. Defense about 8.5. Special teams the weakest link, about a 6.5. But overall, out of 10, this degree of difficulty is an 8, a 7, 9 really. But let's go with this. It's an 8. They're still a good football team. So that'll be it for this preview. I hope to get Florida A&M in probably in the next couple days. I'll have to do a little work on that, but as soon as I have that video, I'll be ready to go. Be back soon, maybe with that one, and as always, go Canes.